Um, played a lot of games. It was great to finally be outside and be on dirt. So that was very exciting. Saw some good things, saw a lot of things that we need to continue to work on. I think what most impressive is Jenna Laird's performance. I mean, going 500, batting 500 out of the chute with the offensive production that she contributed. I thought that was outstanding. I thought her pitchers threw well. It's always tough first time on dirt, first time in cleats, first time on an actual mound. But overall, I think we have some things to work on, but kind of very pleasantly happy with where we're at right now.
Coach, I'll start it off. Tell me a little bit about what you learn about your team, because obviously you're facing different opponents. What was a couple things you learned you didn't know going in?
We're a little inconsistent, and the last thing I said to them yesterday is it's plain maturity. It's that we have inexperience, so that's why right now we have a lot of peaks and valleys. We have some really outstanding performances. We played extremely well against Northwestern, which really set the standard, and it shows me what our potential is. And then we had a lull against Louisville. So we're just up and down because of our inexperience. So that kind of surprised me. I always expect the best out of my players. I've seen them every single day in practice. I know what they're capable of doing. So that's that emotional immaturity that we have right now, that we have to just grow up and get a little bit tougher so we don't have those emotional lulls. I think going forward, we are moving a lot of different people around in the lineup. I'm relying on a lot of people that haven't been in that role before. So moving them down, Cara Daly's one in particular, moving her all over the place to take some pressure off of her. Started her off in the 3 and the 4 hole down. I think she finished up at the 6 or 7, just so she can start feeling a little bit more comfortable in the batter's box to see the ball a little bit better.
Sierra Harrison, talk about her. She was fantastic. I checked the site. It says that she's a freshman. Is that accurate? I mean, that's because he didn't pitch like one.
She is a true freshman. She's very, very special. She's got the it factor, and she's that type of competitor, and she has a great, unbelievable control. She has a great feel for the ball. She knows what she's capable of doing. I can talk to her like an upperclassman in terms of scouting reports and the ability to be able to read things herself. There's not a lot of pitchers like her, and I'm going to continue to rely on her. Gave her a couple games to really get some games underneath her belt, not throwing her to the wolves, so to say. But I know that we're going to rely heavily on her down the stretch, so putting her in some more pressure situations.
Coach, how did you coach your team after the loss to Texas? What did you say? How did you change mindsets going into the weekend? Because I know that probably season opening, it's kind of hard. What did you change going into the next few games?
It really is just bringing awareness to it. And did we just play the way we've been practicing for the past 5 weeks? And we didn't at all. And they knew that. And then it's hearing from them why. And it's trying to do too much. And getting caught up that it is Texas, that they were playing for a national championship last year and doing things differently, and then coming out against Fordham and it being a completely different team. And that's the inexperience that I'm talking about, and paying attention to the name on their chest rather than just going out and playing Missouri softball. So it's getting them to continually remind them that we're only looking at our own program. We're only looking at ourselves and what we do. We don't care what anybody else does. So it's playing hard, playing aggressive, being the aggressor on the field, not defensive. And going into with Texas, we were a little bit back on our heels. Defensively, I've never seen us make as many mistakes as we did. I do think we were in more first and thirds in that Texas game than we were in the entire the previous year. So it's getting them that experience, but also the expectations and the level that we have to play at all the time.
Awesome. Coach, can you talk to me a little bit about Jenna Laird and just her as an athlete, as a teammate and competitor?
Jenna is one of those players. She cares tremendously, but at the same time, she doesn't care. She doesn't care if she gets out or safe. She does for the success of the team and the program, but she doesn't take it to her next at bat, and that's what makes her so successful. When you watch Jenna, you have no idea if she was 4 for 4 or 0 for 4. She plays consistently every single time. She's so unbelievably reliable. I continue to, when she's in the batter's box, I will let her know, hey, you read the defense. Do what you need to do in order to be successful. And there's times she drops a bunt, she drives it opposite field, she'll look to pull the ball. Like, she has such an amazing feel for what is being called upon and what she needs to do. And then her ability to be able to steal a base at will. I mean, she has such tremendous instincts. I hope I can continue to coach players like Jenna Laird.
Love it.
I think what makes her so successful, though, is her ability to have amnesia when she plays. She doesn't carry that to the next at bat, and she doesn't get too emotional about it.
Failure recovery is one of the best strengths of great players. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about your pitching staff? And I know you're returning all of them essentially, and just a little bit about who we're likely going to see and what they throw or what their kind of approach is.
Yeah, I thought Lauren Krings threw tremendous against Northwestern. She really dominated, and the difference I'm seeing in her is she's dominating both sides of the plate. She has been traditionally just living on the outer half to righties and lefties, but now she's able to work both sides of the plate. And what is going to make her extremely successful is her changeup. If she doesn't have her changeup, she's easier to hit because she's just consistently throwing one speed, and that's hard. And if you put the bat on 70 miles an hour, it's going to go. So she has to be able to establish that changeup. And when she gets it at the bottom of the zone, she's extremely tough to hit. And that's what she did extremely well against Northwestern. She established that changeup early in the count, which kept them off balance. And now they got caught in between speeds. So I know we're going to continue to rely on her. She's a lot more mature player right now, has much better command and control. So we're going to need her down the stretch along with CeCe Harrison. Jordan Weber, she got the ball in that game one. That's how much I trust her, and I know we're going to continue to rely on her. So it's putting her probably in some of the toughest games because I know that she can respond and she has that ability to be able to do so. So, I mean, her stats aren't vindictive of what she did and her performance because we put her probably in the hardest games that we had. Another name, Alex, that I do want to mention, and she only threw one inning against Louisville, but that's Taylor Pennell. She's a lefty. She has an unbelievable changeup. I only had to throw it one time in those three batters that she faced, but she's going to be someone that's going to be really special. And it was great to see her, a freshman, come out, even though, there wasn't a lot of pressure for her, but it was real exciting to see that she came out and had her composure as a freshman.
Coach, good morning. You talked about the inexperience of this team, but spending this time in Florida and California off the field, how big is this for bonding and bringing this team together?
It is. I mean, culture is everything. And that's really what our program is established on, is culture and playing for one another, and our culture pyramid and all the qualities that you need in order to be successful. So it is. The bus rides are fun. And that's really where you build your bonds and your relationships, where you go out and you compete to the person who's the right and left to you. So it's huge. Today they have a day off. They're spending time with their families. They're spending time with each other. They're probably going to Universal Studios and doing some things together as a team and as a family. But it's really important for us to continue to build these bonds, and they're going to remember those relationships. They're going to remember the bus rides. They still tell stories about when we got snowed out coming back from Florida State, and we had a 24-hour bus ride riding back from them. Those are the memories that they're going to have that are going to last a lifetime. They're going to tell each other's weddings.
Tell us about Coach Cottrell. Obviously, you bringing him into your staff and what he brings, and obviously as he learns your staff and you learn his style.
He is so unbelievably consistent, and I think what separates Cottrell from the other hitting coaches that we've had is his experience. He's played in 3 World Series. He's coached at that level. So when he talks to the team and he addresses things to the team, he can say from experience. He's not, well, if we do this, we could go to the World Series. These are the things that we need to do in order to be successful and play at that next level. So that's the level that he's bringing. But I think what his uniqueness is he's very individual to every single hitter. He understands them as people, as their personalities, the way their body moves. So their swing is more personalized to them rather than everybody has to do the same thing the same way.
Larissa, apologies if you've talked about this already. I jumped on a little late, but what did you see in particular in the Northwestern game from your group, their ability to play that well against a nationally ranked team so early in the season?
It was all the way around. It started with Lauren Krings on the mound, and her keeping them off balance with her changeup, and that just builds confidence. I mean, if you have a pitcher that is controlling the strike zone and getting easy outs and getting key strikeouts, it elevates everybody's confidence. And we're still unsure of who we are as a team. It's very, very early on in the year. One game obviously doesn't define us, Northwestern or a loss against Louisville or Texas. So it's that confidence that carried over to defense. And that was the difference between the Northwestern game and the Texas game. I thought the Texas game, we were very much back on our heels and kind of unsure of ourselves as a team and what we were expecting. And then Northwestern, it was, okay, now let's play our Missouri softball and let's be more aggressive. We were more aggressive at the plate. We were attacking a lot more. We were way more aggressive defensively. It was really fun to watch them play because everything was in harmony. Texas, we were back on our heels and Texas really controlled that tempo. So carrying it over, and when you get those great defensive performances and the pitching performance, it doesn't put as much pressure on your offense to be able to score runs. And I think Alex Honnold's home run was actually hit and run. So I'm going to continue to call those hit and runs. But what she and I talked about afterwards was, why was that hit and run so successful? And it was, she only needed to focus on putting the bat on the ball and not anything else. And it's taking that pressure off of trying to get a hit and just focusing on bat and ball. And obviously it carried it out of the fence.
Who are your leaders on this team? Since obviously there's so many with the new faces, who are the leaders on this team?
Megan Mall is a very strong leader. Kara Daly. Jenna Laird is not a vocal leader at all. She's that leader that when she does say something, everybody pays attention because she's not very vocal, I'm sorry. Everyone leads really in their own different way. And when you look at the players on our team, we don't have that one person that is, come on, let's go. It's everybody in their own special way. And it's Emma Nichols who plays a very key role as a relief pitcher, and Jordan Weber in her capacity. But I would say the voice of our team is Riley Frizzell. She is one that continually, anytime I address something with the team, she's one that immediately speaks up and has such a great tenor, has an unbelievable personality, but really just a good feel for what the team needs to be evaluated on and what they feel.
I remember one of the game streams said that they didn't know whether Texas or Missouri had more fans there this weekend. Like, did you have a big fan base out of town? I want to hear about that.
We did. A lot of our parents traveled. There was a lot of donors, season ticket holders that traveled. That there's some snowbirds that come down here for a month, and they head on over to our games. But it's really great to see the support. And when we still get the MIZ chant that is going throughout the entire complex, it's pretty special. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, we did have a very big following, and I expect that to continue this week, Wednesday at UCF, and then also when we head down to FIU.
Awesome. I want to talk a little bit about just the lineup, the hitters. You can talk about them as hitters or a little bit more defensively, things like that. And I'd also like a little bit about how you guys approach the offense, if you are big on plans and things of that nature. So if anybody in particular is better, things like that.
Okay. I'll immediately start off with Jenna Laird. She has the green light in every aspect, in offense, in base running, whatever she needs to do. And there's a lot of times that I've known her since she was 9 years old. So I can just give her that look, and she's kind of reading exactly what I'm seeing in the field in terms of taking a bunt or reading where the shortstop's playing to be able to steal that base. So that's pretty special, and that really is our spark plug. Alex Honnold is right behind her, and I'm going to continue to leave them at 1 and 2. Alex she is probably the most quiet person on our team, and it's everyone's goal to get her to smile and show some enthusiasm. So anytime she does come through with a big hit, clutch RBI, a great play, it excites everybody else in the dugout just to get her have a reaction. So that's a lot of fun. And then 3, 4, and 5 have really been fluctuating. It's really trying to find that 3-hole right now. And I loved having Julia Crenshaw in that 3-hole. She's someone who did not get a lot of playing time last year. She started at the bottom of the lineup in our first game and worked her way up into the 3-hole. And I'm really seeing tremendous growth in her in a very, very short period of time. She was a highly touted high school player. One of the polls, she was the number 2 recruit in the country coming out of high school. So obviously we're expecting a lot out of her, but to see as fast transition that she's had in a very short period of time is exciting, because we would love to have her in that 3-hole. 4, we've been putting Riley Frizzell, another one who hasn't had a ton of starting experience. She was really our first person off the bench the last couple of years, but the power potential. She has the ability to spray the ball all over the field, but her power is pretty ridiculous when she gets a hold of it. She just right now, she's trying to do a little bit too much, trying to fill that role of being a 4-hole. So she just has to just see the ball and do what the pitch dictates. I'd love to see Cara Daly in the 5-hole. And I think she belongs in 3, 4, 5 with her power potential. She's trying to do too much. She's trying to hit every single pitch rather than, people aren't going to want to throw to her. I mean, she's a very big presence in the batter's box, tremendous amount of power. And so they're going to throw her a lot of pitches borderline. And sometimes the best pitch to do is take it. And she's just swinging at everything right now. Bottom of the lineup there's a lot of variety. Vanessa Hollingsworth has been in that DP role. I was real impressed with Katie Chester yesterday. So I'm going to give her a shot in the DP role on Wednesday. Don't tell my team yet that. Yeah, Katie Chester is someone that she's going to be right behind Cara Daly at 3rd and also Frizzell at 1st. So those two better continue to improve or their job is going to be in jeopardy. And then you have a couple other players. Shantice Phillips has really done a tremendous job in left field. She hit a ball that if we didn't have a 40-mile-an-hour wind yesterday blowing in, the thing would have traveled maybe 280. I mean, it was just an absolute bomb that dead stopped right at the warning track on the field. So I'm real excited to see that she's having really good passes. You know what one of our biggest weaknesses right now is behind the plate. We just need a little bit more consistency out of a catcher. I'm not looking for our catcher to hit 300, which would be great. It's just being consistent back there and being able to handle the pitchers and be consistent in your at bat.
Understood. Good stuff. Can you tell me a little bit about philosophy hitting, if you guys are really keen on your scouting, and what those conversations look like?
So they do get scouting reports. We will go over video and what the pitchers throw. We do not cookie cut a plan and approach. We won't say everybody needs to look middle in or middle out or something like that. It's kind of gaining information throughout the game. If pitchers are tipping something, tipping a changeup, how can we help the hitter to be able to recognize that? Do we want to key it? Do we want to take advantage of it? Do we want to just steal on it because it's ineffective in the game? But really, it's more individual in trying to recognize how that pitcher is attacking every individual hitter and those individual hitters making those adjustments. You know, yesterday, I think it was a little reverse philosophy with that wind blowing straight in trying to tell your team, hit the ball hard on the ground. Like that's very old school. And it's really tough to make that adjustment because we had some great passes at the ball and hit the ball really hard. It just was in the air. And Louisville had a couple little bloop shots that were wind blown and landed right on the baseline. And that happens. So it's trying to be able to swing at a good pitch and hit it as hard as you can, and wherever it goes, it goes.
I know I ask you about defense at this time of year, and I know the answer is you're not satisfied where you're at. So I'll ask it in a different way. How close are you where you want to be defensively? And when you have young players, when you're coaching young players, how much is patience a key, in particular to defense and in general?
Patience is so huge. You know, and it's trying my patience, but I need to be patient. And I need to continue to coach them. I can't expect them to play like seniors because then they're just going to feel that everything they do is wrong. So it's being there by their side when they do make a mistake. But the one thing is that our mistakes are not fundamentals. And we're going to make sure that we're fundamentally perfect all the time. And some of it's just speed and direction of the ball, because the game is a little bit faster when you're playing against another opponent. And we practice at a very, very fast pace, but we know what we do. So we know how to play against ourselves. And it's having that same confidence when you're going against an opponent. And that's where some of those mistakes happened. And I felt like there was one game, I mean, I had said we made 3 errors in 1 inning. It wasn't, but if I was keeping the book, it was. But a lot of it was speed and direction choices in letting the ball dictate something that wasn't there. And that's where we have to get a little bit more aggressive and always anticipating the play after the play. So Eric, not satisfied whatsoever.
I figured
Yep.
that.
Yep.
I can say this though, as a Giants fan, are you satisfied that the Chiefs beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl?
I'm going to go out of my screen for 1 second and show you guys something. Okay, so I had a little bet with my associate head coach, Sarah Marino, because she's from Philadelphia and she's an Eagles fan. And of course, I'm a longtime Giants fan. So when the Eagles played the Giants, we had a little bet going on, and obviously my team lost. And this is what I had to wear yesterday during the Super Bowl. Yeah, not happy whatsoever.
Ouch.
Sarah got pictures. Yeah, it hurt. As soon as she left and took her 3-year-old son to bed, I took the shirt immediately off. So yes, beyond thrilled that the Kansas City Chiefs won. Not only because I'm in Missouri, but because it was not the Eagles.
It's a double win.
It is exactly a double win. What else we got?
Any other
I'm good on
questions,
my
for
end.
Coach? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yep, you can go, Alex.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just saying I'm good on my end. I think I've got a good bit.
Sierra Harrison, she's going to be something special.
Best freshman arm you've had? I mean, how do you compare her to other freshman pitchers you've had?
Yeah, best freshman arm I've had.
That's pretty strong.
It really is. Yeah, it is. And I think what's really special with our pitching staff, and this was completely by design, because when I came here, I really only had Maddie Norman. So she was a 5th year, so very, very different. And then I had the 3 freshmen. I had Schumacher, Weber, and Nichols, and they didn't have any upperclassmen. So they were really alone by themselves. So by design, I did not want freshmen to have to go through that again without any mentoring. So intentionally bringing in CC and Taylor Pinnell with the strong senior class to be able to get that mentoring. And Krings has really done an amazing job with CC. I mean, they do all their spinning together, their long toss together. So there's a great bond that's going on between the two. So I can really see them being a real good dynamic together. But CC, watching CC play travel ball and played for a great organization, the Aces out of Kansas City, the it factor is when the ball comes out of her hands, she already knows if she strikes out a kid and she starts walking off the field. Like, I can't teach that. And she hasn't shown that swagger yet because she's still fairly new, but to have that internal instinct that she knows that the pitch is going to be pretty nasty is pretty cool to watch. Reminds me a lot of Odyssey Alexander.